I just love telling Staples what to do. It's really, I like telling a lot of you what to do. It's, it's pretty fun. Yeah, so he asked me to do a presentation, and the fun thing about being asked to do a presentation is you get to pick what you're doing a presentation on. And so I said, I want to talk about storytelling. Because for 23 years, in fact, at the Avalanche Review, I realized that that's what I did and what I wanted to do, was to develop stories. And who am I looking at? Oh, yeah, I'm saving you for later. Zen. I made him turn all red. But to look at some of you guys in the audience and to say, let me help you understand the story that you're in right now. So, what do you think about that, Jeff? Did I do that for you? Yeah? Yeah. He don't want to say anything else. But, all right, let's start. I have 10 slides. And so in this first one, I'm just talking a little bit about what storytelling is. And you're like, well, yeah, I know what storytelling is. We do that every day. We do that around the beer cooler. These days we're a little more, I don't know what we are, but we do it around the tea cooler. We do it different places. We do it when we put the Pulaskis back in the trailer, right? We talk about our stories, and I'm going to get into that a little bit as we go. And so, do I have a little? No. Do I have a? All right. So here we go. So the stories function to entertain as well as educate, and so that's my goal, is to entertain you as well as potentially educate you. Because believe it or not, I have fun up here. And it's taken 20 years to get to this point, but it's super fun. And so let's look at storytelling. And I don't have great images like lovely Darcy did, but here's some thoughts about storytelling. And not every story has every one of these. They don't all boost memory and retention of what's going on, but if you have a story like Doug McCabe, like some story at the Yellowstone Club about that particular slope always goes at this point in time. Do you have stories like that? Yeah. And so do you tell your young patrollers to look out for that? Do you sit down and tell stories? And stand up maybe and talk a little bit. Oh, you are standing up? Oh, sorry. Sorry, that was rude. See what I mean? And he can't really throw things at me. He didn't get it.
We all have stories, and we integrate it into our morning meeting and evening meetings, and locker room chat.
Yeah.
We're in the posting stations, and we're on the chairlifts. We tell these stories and we pass these stories along. It becomes part of the culture.
Awesome. Part of the culture. The stories become part of the culture, and they get associated with the landscape as well. And you gain maybe not fear, but a healthy respect for big avalanche paths and so on, right? So, and I really do think that telling stories build empathy and connection. There I was. And it gives you a choice to say, I was freaking terrified. And somebody else can say, yeah, I was terrified too. And that's where it's okay to have fear and okay to own some of these emotions that change your story. I really like this one as an Avalanche educator that improves decision making and helps you understand the why behind your choices. All right, let's look at this story. Let's dissect this story. And then this has been important since probably before there was writing, right? That storytelling and story making creates meaning from complexity, because there's a lot of things that happen, and in telling a story that people want to listen to, you have to pick some things and leave behind others. And that selection process, it might change over time. And that's why when I worked at the Avalanche Review, people would come to me and say, oh, I want to do this case study right away. I'd be like, you don't get to do this one right away. It just happened. I want you to write it up and then close it and sit on it. Maybe not literally, but sit on it for 6 months. Or if you're, sort of agitated, sit on it for 6 weeks. But then open it back up again and see if you still agree with yourself. What else comes out of it? So I've found that to be really, really important. You guys remember that pucker face incident maybe 15 years ago? The kid Alex Doe, I'm being pejorative, but he was a kid. He's now a man with children and a wife, and he's very serious. But initially he's like, I want to put this in tar. Cowboy, you guys know Cowboy, Brett Coburn, told me to write this up. And I'm doing this right away because I want to get healed from this right away. It doesn't work like that. It's process, right, Darcy? It's emotion and process and refining your story and changing your story over time. We've spent enough time on this damn slide because I'm squandering my active listening out there. Let's see what we got next. Oh, because over 23 years, I got to pick wonderful photos that tell stories. And who out there can tell me what this image on your left might be? Anyone? Old folks boogie? Oh, come on. Rod Stewart? Come on. Who's going to sing it for extra credit? Come on, every picture tells a story, don't it? Yeah. Okay, so, never mind, maybe after a beer or two. But I put up, when I said every picture tells a story, you guys see the cover of this 42.4, that Avalanche Review from, what would that be, April 2 years ago? Yeah, That's one of the photos that, to me, carries quite the story. Ben, you want to stand up and holler at us what's the short story for that photo? You guys know Ben Vandermoos? He's the photographer for this. You got to shout. What's the?
Let's see, I went out that day. It was
Yeah, it's pretty often that when you look at a photo, you get a story from looking at it, but it's not that often that you look at a story and you get the photographer to talk about it. Thank you. So that was wonderful. But for me, I do that with all of them. Like look at this one. This is a cover from a while ago, 34.2. And so what's going on in here besides a lot of blue sky that we did put text in? One of you folks that used to run those little pack howitzers, what's he doing? Tell us the story. Yeah, see, there's a story associated with that. He's opening his mouth for the percussion blast so it doesn't blow his eardrums out. So even a little picture tells a really interesting story. You got some time behind the wheel on that kind of situation?
Slightly different device, but similar effect.
Yeah. So this would be a good teaching photo, huh? Oh yeah, there we go. This is one of my absolute favorite covers. And I don't know if we have the photographer in here. I think this is a Joe Stock photo, Joe Stock from Alaska. And we didn't give you a lot of room to make up your own caption, right? Because we gave you our caption. And this is what the whole issue was about. And this is one of my absolute favorite issues. So it's 36:3. And I don't know about you, but this one stuck with me. And this one seems to have stuck with a lot of people in the industry. Were we good or were we just lucky? Yeah, I see heads nodding there. And do you guys, has anyone here brought that sentence, that question into your own operations? Did we make good decisions or did we get away with it? I see Jeff's hand go up.
My favorite question.
Were we good or were we just lucky? So it dives into a whole nother set of questions. What is luck? I think we dug into that one at the Avalanche Review. Once again, a Joe Stock, but yeah. Mine was always, did we make good decisions or did we get away with it? So anyway, that's one of my favorites where every picture tells a story, don't it? Okay, and here's a couple more. You see, I just pillaged from the covers because it was really easy for me to do that, because that was my world. And so what do we got? What do we got on this one? Who wants to, what are the questions that come up when you look at this 42:3? Who wants to jump on that one? Nobody? This doesn't give you questions? Doesn't make you wonder? What the hell is going on there? What's going on there? No? All right, well, it came from Wren McElroy, and it came from Wren when she was helping to set up that outfit up in northern British Columbia. You guys remember this from ISSW in Bend? Yeah, the photos just blew us away, but this is Wren and somebody else getting dumped onto a platform that was soon to be, they were building a GAZX. Okay. And then, my 5 minutes, oh Jesus. And so the one on the right, I love this for the people problem. So let's keep moving. And I wanted to talk a bit about Odysseus because he's the archetype of the traveler and the archetype of the storyteller. So, but I'm not going to talk about him too much because I don't have a lot of time. But the thing I want to underline here is that we are each on our own hero's journey. And in our hero's journey, in our story, we choose our mentors choose us. You can have more than one mentor. You guys know that, right? And women can have men as mentors. I see a number of you in this room. Is Carl here? No, Carl. One of my big mentors here. And then a couple of the women mentors you all know, Janet Kellum, and then there's Rod Newcomb that I had the benefit of being up on the mountain with. And then Someone who doesn't get enough credit is Evelyn Lees from the Utah Avalanche Center. And then, of course, we can't forget Mr. Kimbrough and his tutu down there. I'm just going to skim over Ken Wiley and his look at the archetypes. And the thing I want to underline with Ken's work in the archetypes is that you can move from, in self-awareness, it's a continuum. You can go from explorer to wallflower depending on your emotions and what you want your story to be like. And you can move back, and each has its pros and each has its cons. We come back to this, and before Zach flies me the red flag, and this is really what I wanted to talk about, which is that we're always selecting what kind of hero we want to be. You know, do I want to be the hero, the real hero, and then I throw out all the parts that made me look afraid, that made me look incompetent? Or do I want to be the bumbling fool, which is very often the hero, because the bumbling fool, she can get away with so much because no one expects her to succeed. And so then she can slide around and sneak here and there and be the Odysseus and be the trickster. And then boom, be the hero with the hat. So think about what kind of hero you want to be and how you want to show up, not just to everyone else, but to yourself. And I'm going to throw one more in here. And yeah, I got a minute. And so in this minute, this is a little bit what Doug McCabe was talking about. And when I put out a bit of a call for what does storytelling mean, my buddy Steve Conger, whom you might have met in your travels, is up in British Columbia now. He says that institutions rely on storytelling. And this is from Gary Klein. This is the graphic that got put together on storytelling and its importance for institutions. So if you run an institution, like say Bridger Bowl Ski Patrol, make room for storytelling and don't make those stories have to be within the lines. So that's it. That's what I got.